everybody, it's time to LOL. Listen out loud, that is. It's time for Anime Jam Session with DJ Ranma S, Mako-chan, and Ari Rockefeller.
Hey everybody, welcome to Anime Jam Session, episode number 595. We are that podcast that talks about anime, games, conventions, the fandom, geek stuff, and everything in between. I'm DJ Ranma S. And nobody can hear you, Mako.
Oops.
Did you mute yourself by accident?
Well, I didn't unmute myself.
Can't take you anywhere.
No. But hi, I'm Mako-chan.
Ari is taking the night off. He's doing mid-shift, so he's probably listening in from work or on the way home from work and all that good stuff. So, anywho, how are you doing tonight, Mako?
Just like every other night, I'm freaking tired.
Or trying to take over the world?
No, that's too much work.
All right, so before we begin, I gotta have this conversation with Cedar Berry. For those of you who are just listening to the podcast or just watching the replay on YouTube, we always do a pre-show for those of you who remember. And we used to, I think I used to keep the pre-show on the podcast feed, but I don't do it now because extra editing and so forth, you know, all that good stuff. But one of the opening themes I played on the pre-show was opening to My Sunikoku, Kaneshimiyo Kanichiwa. And Cedar Berry mentioned that this gives him flashbacks of when he used to buy the Ranma VHS tapes because the preview was on there. I'm like, yeah, I agree. And I have to say, that is a really nice feel-good type of song. And now he mentions that back then he had 5 bootleg fan-sub Sailor Moon tapes, 2 Ranma tapes, an El Hazard, The Wanderers, and one of the Tenchi movies, which was bootleg, which he thinks was the first Tenchi movie. Well, if they're going back in time to save his mother, then that's the first Tenchi movie. The second one is where some chick comes out of nowhere and says that's his daughter. And the third movie, I think, is when you find out Ryoko is shamelessly in love with Tenchi or something like that. Tenchi Forever. And I'm just sitting here thinking of all the times I used to go down to Chinatown and I would buy all of these damn, well, yeah, bootleg, but I would buy all these fan subs. I think I had like the typical, have you ever seen like the typical, not large, but medium-sized gray storage tubs that you would see at Walmart or Target? The ones where you could not, you was probably store a lot of your clothes and stuff, yeah, something like that. I actually had one of those full of VHS tapes, and when I moved, I ended up tossing all of them, and I realized I stopped buying them when I was going through Love Hina. I realized this person was just playing the episodes through Windows Media Player and had a VCR attached to it to record. And the thing is, the image quality was kind of off, but I didn't care. But when I saw that was flipping, I was like, no, okay, I'm done. I'm done with the bootlegs. Yep.
I didn't have bootleg anime. I had bootleg hentai.
Here we go.
What?
Nothing.
I mean, the bootleg anime that was out, because my friend at the time really, like, I got her into Sailor Moon and she went absolutely crazy with it. So she was buying bootlegs from, video stores and things like that. So if I wanted to watch anime, I would just watch hers. So instead, I would buy stuff that she didn't have and that I wanted, and most of that was hentai.
Thus, the term hentai connoisseur.
Eh. It's an art style. It's an art medium.
And I believe that. And I just realized something. The rundown is not even set properly.
Nope.
No, the funny thing is, I always set the rundown after I update it. After I update it, I've reset it to set from the top. And let me do that real quick. I forgot to reset it. There we go. And it's fixed. And the funny thing is, I'm staring at it for a little bit, going, okay, all right, wait a minute. That's not right. And I see it where he says, different strokes for different folks. Basically. Anywho, we are live tonight, week of June 27, 2023, right here on Twitch. Jesus, a year ago. We are live Tuesdays from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. You can always find us at Twitch TV/Anime Jam Session. We're also proud to be part of the Voice of Geeks Network at vognetwork.com. And they're also on Twitch TV/Vog Network. They kick things off on Sunday nights starting at 8 p.m. with the Bobby Blackwolf Show, followed by Orange Lounge Radio at 9. And come hang out in our Discord, vognetwork.com/Discord. Every show is part of the Voice of Geeks Network has their own channel, so come through and hang out and have a good time. So now we got that out the way. We're going to quickly go through how was our week, how was our day. Mako.
Not horrible, I guess. This past weekend, I took my mother out for lunch for Father's Day. We were looking at various things for the bar and lounge area, straightened up the house, and basically started Final Fantasy X.
Of course you did.
I'm not even done with Final Fantasy VII. So I'm now playing Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy X, and Disney Dreamlight Valley all at the same time.
Well, you're not the first, but I get that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's entertaining and fun, and I had to completely restart my Final Fantasy X game.
Why?
7.5 hours into it, and realized I should not have picked the choice I did for how to do the spheres. Because I ended up choosing the, I guess, expert mode. Now, I've already played it. I've already played the game. I've already beaten the game like 2 or 3 times.
Right. So
I figured, I can do that. And then I'm like, no, I don't like the way that it's set up. So, 7.5 hours in, I hadn't even gotten to the, to the quote unquote first Aeon. Well, technically second Aeon. So I'm like, you know what? I might as well just restart it now. So the 7.5 hours that it took me to do it the first time only took me 5 hours to do the second time.
If you can't tell, I'm clapping.
I can tell. I see you clapping.
All right. But I totally get that. I mean, there was a time where I had one game going on the Xbox, one game going on the PlayStation, and I'm probably bumming through a mobile game or something like that. I get that. But
speaking of mobile games, I just passed you in Monopoly.
Jesus. Mother. Well, I guess I know what I'll be doing right after the show tonight.
I can't help it. I had over 2,000 dice, and it would not let me not have 2,000 dice. The entire time that the pre-show was going on, I still had 2,000 dice.
Well, if I wasn't manning the controls, I'd probably be doing the same thing, too. And yes, I will knock down all of your statues if I get an opportunity to, like I did that one time before.
Yeah, I know.
By the way, if you're wondering, we're talking about the game Monopoly Go, the mobile game. So it's fun and it's kind of addictive and it's a bit of an idle game too. So, but I was going to say something as a compliment. Oh yeah, right. Like one of my streaming friends, Ari, is here. She's playing through Final Fantasy VII, but there is a dub track for it for PC. Not talking remake, the original. I guess a bunch of people got together and decided to do a voice mod kit for it.
Yeah.
That kind of threw me off. I was like, oh, really? And I think she said something, it was like officiated by Square. I'm just like, I wouldn't know about that, but it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
I don't know if it was like an official kind of thing, but it's definitely out there.
I think Square's like gave it. I think Square Enix gave their blessing or something. Because let's be real, if it was a major threat, they would have C&D'd that a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they care because they're doing so much for the new games. I think if you start screwing with the new games, that's when they'll be pissed off.
Speaking of the new games, FF16 is sitting on my shelf behind the door there, and I will crack it open once I get a PlayStation 5. I am waiting on the quote-unquote redesign that's supposed to happen like later or next year. And let's be real, there's only like 2 other games for PS5 that I want. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. That's it. Other than that, I don't really have a need for one.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy VII stuff is the only reason why I would want a PS5, and that's not enough for me to buy a PS5.
Yeah. I mean, Mako, if you had a PS4 and see that would make sense because all of the PS4 games are backwards compatible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a PS3 Fat. I just haven't turned it on because it sounds like a North Korean shuttle rocket when you turn the sucker on. So.
Yeah, I didn't switch over from PS2 to PS3. I went PS2 to Xbox 360.
And I think most of the third-party games on PS2 you can pick up on Xbox anyway. I mean, like, you're talking about Final Fantasy X Remaster. I actually had the 10 and 10-2 remaster for PlayStation 3, which I think is still sealed on my shelf because when I got my copy of 10-2 signed by Tara Strong, I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm going to get it. Wait till I get another copy. And now it's available for Xbox. I'm like, why not? So
yeah, my only issue with the Xbox one is for the PlayStation one, it allows you to go in there and basically add on cheat codes, and they remove that for the Xbox version.
Wait, what do you mean cheat codes?
Like they did for the Pixel remaster.
Right.
Go into the separate games and turn on no encounters or level like quick leveling.
Wait. They actually put that in the PlayStation version?
Yeah.
The 10 remaster?
Mm-hmm.
But why?
Because I don't know, but I think it's the PC version and the PlayStation version.
What?
They did the same thing with the Final Fantasy VII remaster, I think.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's only on the PC and PlayStation versions, or it might just be on the PlayStation version.
I was just saying, I think I was telling this to Rob Roberts on OLR Sunday. I was telling this to somebody, but I would like for them to do kind of sort of remaster Final Fantasy 13 and put all 3 games together as one epic trilogy, something like that, and just make all 3 parts blend in perfectly. Something.
I want a remaster of Dot Hack.
Didn't they do one?
They did one for the sequel series. They did not do one for Dot Hack Sign.
Oh, GU, okay. Don't you aren't you missing like the 4th one?
No, I have all of the original Dot Hacks.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you were missing one of the games.
No, I have all of the original Dot Hacks, and I do have the second series on. Well, I have the second series for PlayStation, but I also have the second series sitting on my Switch.
Okay, just hold on to those originals because I know those games are going for anywhere between $500 to $1,000 a pop.
Yeah, I saw them on eBay for like 200 and something per game. I'm like, I wouldn't sell them anyway because until they actually do a remaster, it's the only way to frickin' play it.
Right. And even if they do a remaster, the originals will drop down in value. I mean, case in point, the Sailor Moon, the ADV's Sailor Moon brick of the first two seasons, they were going high as $400 a piece. Now they're basically being sold slightly above retail value because you can go out and get the Viz release of it. Where it's better video. I mean, and you don't even have to watch the dub. Same thing with the Pioneer release of S and Supers. Those are going for more or less pretty cheap now because you can go out and get the Viz version. Again, you don't have to watch the dub. You can still watch the subtitled version. Just understand that the Viz one is a lot more accurate and better video quality. We'll just leave it at that. So, anywho, my weekend day was the same old. I worked on some more photos. I'm hoping to get Kogura-con done this week because it's summer Fridays at work, so that means I get to go home early. Also, I forgot to mention this last week, but I replaced my mouse. So basically, what was happening over the weeks was I would click and no response. And I'm thinking it's the application. No, it's the mouse. So I have to click around the left click in order for it to register. And I started getting used to that. That or I would just start pressing a little bit harder. Fine, whatever. I would blast with compressed air here and there, to make sure it would work, And then while I was playing PSO2 with Kuro Hikari-chan, they added on a build mode where you can create your own, where they give you your own island, you can create your own house and stuff like that. So in order to get into that build mode, you have to click with the mouse wheel. And I was clicking, and then out of the blue, it stopped responding unless I pressed down pretty hard. And I just said, screw this, I'm buying a new mouse. The bad news is, the mouse that I had, the M65 Elite, basically has been, quote-unquote, discontinued by Corsair. I mean, Corsair is still selling it, but it's hard to find it outside of their website. But I found the upgraded version, the M65 Ultra, and it was on sale at Best Buy. So I got that, so that's all set up. And at work, my keyboard at work started to fail, so I ended up replacing that with a refurbished Corsair keyboard, and I went out and got a refurbished M65 Elite. Now, I am a sucker for Corsair stuff. I absolutely love their products. They're updating their AIOs and lights and stuff for a new system, and I'm looking forward to that and see if I can integrate that with my current setup. And it's like, I've been saying for the longest I want to have a Corsair mouse and keyboard at work, but I could not justify the cost. They did, however, put out a limited edition combo pack with a mechanical keyboard, and it's been sold out for months, and it's going for ridiculous prices online, so I'm like, I can wait. So there's that. Also, an interesting thing. So as some of you know, I do build computers for people. I built 2 for Ari. I built 1 for Mako. I've rebuilt a few for Mako. Got to work with what you got, and I can make it work even better than what HP can do. So, a friend of mine mentioned that she was tired of her laptop. She wanted a high-end PC to work with. So, I went ahead, spec'd it out, sent her the price, and we're talking $2,200 here, including my build fee. And I'm thinking I'm going to get payments here and there. I get an email back from PayPal saying invoice paid in full. I was like, So, looks like this weekend I'll have something to do, and my goal is, hopefully, if everything falls the way it should, I should be able to have everything by Friday afternoon, so when I get home from work, I can finish up my Kogura-con stuff, and then start working on this PC, and hand it to her before I go on vacation Wednesday. So, there's that's that. So we're going to move on to our next title here. Housekeeping, programming note. There is no show on July 4th.
Next week.
Which is next week. So go out, enjoy the fireworks, have a good time. Just don't blow your arm off. Don't forget, episodes of Anime Jam Session are available on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Anime Jam Session. Click on playlists, and click on, no, yeah, playlist and podcast VODs. Most episode is there. Episodes go up Thursday at 12 noon. And also, don't forget to check us out at ShikariCon. I'm hoping that we can do a couple of panels. I haven't heard back, but definitely come check out this really small yet awesome convention. ShikariCon, August 19th to the 20th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at shikaricon.com. And now we're going to get into the next part of our show, Geek Roundtable. This is where we talk more about the geekier aspects of our weekend day, or we want to show off some cool stuff. So I see one of Mako's geek thingy bobbers is coming back around the corner again.
Yeah, speaking of computers, I was just not caring about trying to figure out what to put on screen, so I put the computer on screen. It is the anniversary of my computer being built, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Because I know that I built Peridot during the pandemic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know, because a month or two later, I built Kuro Hikari-chan's computer Mistipheles. So, unless we're counting that I came back over and put in like the final parts that need to be put in for it to work the way you wanted to, then yeah.
I don't know. I just Facebook said posted a picture that said introducing Peridot. So
all right, that works. I think there was a couple of parts missing that we needed, so we was waiting on that. So, and I think you're probably I think you said if you're going to get into doing some streaming in the future, right?
Probably some point this summer.
All right. I do know we may have to do an upgrade, but let's see how the machine performs first before we actually jump into that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, as I've said, I had a bunch of figurines at Mako's place from Zenkai, and when she came out here, for her belated birthday bar crawl, she dropped off the rest of those figurines for me. And one of them was on my otaku mode list, and I kind of have a rule of thumb. If it's no more than a $10 price difference than online and at a convention, I will buy it. Because look, if the figurine runs $20, you can add $15 to $20 for shipping. And then after tax, $45, whatever. You may find it on Amazon for about the same price than shipping. Or you might find it for the same price at the con. So, even if you have like an Otaku Mode membership like I do and you just deduct points, sometimes you might just be better off just getting it at the con. Depends on how it is. So, one of my favorite series is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Senpai. And I picked up another figurine from that. It's Mai Sakurajima in her winter outfit. I actually have 2 of her bunny figurines on my wish list to pick up. And what's interesting is I had never had any interest in bunny figures. Never did. Until I watched that anime and I saw her walking around in the bunny girl outfit, but she wasn't smiling or anything. She was just being studious, kind of serious, having a regular conversation. That alone made me like, you know what? I think I want to pick up that figure. And they made it, but I didn't have $300. So I have one of her smiling, but it's close enough. And speaking of figures, if you're in the New York City tri-state area, there is a new anime merch store that just opened up called Tesso X in Flushing. So now we have We have a store in Midtown Manhattan, which they only do online only since the pandemic. There's another store in Flushing, I believe, and now Tesso X. I went up there, and I have to say the prices are kind of reasonable. At least it's like maybe a $5 to $10 difference between them and online. But Amazon will have you beat for a lot of the stuff there. And I've also discovered that if you are a fan of My Hero Academia, there is a 9 times out of 10, any of the import figurines are coming to the States, so you might as well just wait and grab one of those, because the only difference is the kanji. You know, either it's going to be in Japanese or it's going to be, and there'll be a Funimation logo on there. I kind of figured that out when I bought two My Hero Academia figures off of Amazon like earlier this year. So, you know. All right, now that we got that out the way, we're going to get into our stories, but there is one thing I want to bring up real quick. Mako.
Hmm?
Evidently, Anime Next did something stupid again.
What they do now?
Evidently, there was a staffer at the masquerade kicking people out for recording it.
What?
You heard me.
For recording the masquerade.
Yes.
Why?
Because according to him, it's against convention policy to record it.
Since when?
According to this asshole, since always.
I have video that will disprove that.
So do I! Come to find out, this person was new on staff, so he was saying that was a rule, and he actually had multiple people removed from the audience for recording the masquerade. It took a couple of senior staffers to escort him out and tell him that it's not against the rules.
Oh my god.
Well, as I have said on my Facebook fan page at facebook.com/IamDJRonMS, if you end up becoming a guest at that convention, put a clause in your contract that you must have a rental. Yes, the staffers will drive you back and forth, but let's be real. It'll be a lot faster if you had a rental to drive between the convention center and the hotel. And granted, the guests were mostly at the convention center for their duties, but there's gotta be times where you're like, you know what? I need to go back to the hotel and rest. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when your convention is in 2 separate cities. I still want. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when somebody suggested that. But you know, enough about that. We're going to talk about another convention that's having issues, and I stumbled across this earlier this week. Looks like there's going to be issues at SDCC. Yes, San Diego Comic-Con, because Marvel, Netflix, Sony, HBO, and Universal are skipping the convention. Between that and the fact that they had to cancel their convention due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Comic SDCC, which is under a subsidiary of Comic-Con International, which is the nonprofit organization that runs this, they hit a bit of a financial strain. But thankfully, they were able to come back last year, which was a complete success, even with a mandate in place. Now, if I'm not mistaken, did they move SDCC towards the holidays last year?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was around the Christmas holidays, and it was like, we were like, what the hell, you know? Let's see. No. It was normal dates for last year.
Mm.
But there was some con that pushed around that time, which reminds me, there's that one con, Holiday Matsuri. Their convention is during the week.
Who the hell decided that one? I mean, are they just looking for, nothing but 12 and 13-year-olds to go?
It seems that there is an issue with them booking the hotel because Holiday Matsuri is a convention that happens right before the Christmas holiday. So I think something was up. So now the con is the convention is from, well, they actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's from the 20th to the 22nd of December. Let me look this up real quick. Holiday Matsuri 2023. Okay, looking at the website now. Nope, December 20th to the 22nd. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wow, imagine going to a convention 2 days before Christmas.
I just...
Wednesday the 20th to Friday the 22nd.
Do they realize that most people aren't going to be able to get off of work those days? That kids are still going to have school those days?
But think about it. Mako, you have been going to conventions for as long as I have. We have seen how cosplayers act. We've seen how they react to stuff. Do you think most of them give a damn?
Most of the younger crowd, no.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a shit about, responsibility except for, dressing up.
Right.
That's not the main portion of the people that go to the conventions, though.
Mm-hmm.
The main portion of the people that go to conventions are, just.
Well, you also got to take into consideration the younger generation don't even want us at their conventions, ruining their fun.
That's all well and good, but you're going to have a convention of nothing but snot-nosed kids.
And I believe there's 2 major cosplay events going on there, so it's gonna be a trip. Yep.
I one being so close to Christmas, who the hell is going to have extra money around that time? 2, because Christmas is in the middle of the week this year, everybody's going to go on vacation for the entire week with family. Not going to a freaking convention and then going, oh, I have to go to Christmas dinner with grandma now.
Oh, Christmas is on a Monday.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Wait, how is Christmas on a Monday if the convention starts on the 20th and the 20th is a Monday?
Right, hold on. Let me double check my calendar. Yeah. December 20th to the 22nd, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
My mistake. I wasn't sure until I went and double checked. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You're leaving the con on the day you typically would arrive. That is going to fuck with some people.
I'm just I can't see parents allowing the younger generation to go.
Same.
I can't see parents going unless they're going to be spending, that's their Christmas vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't see this going well.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, legit, if you have a retail job at all, you're not getting off.
Yeah, this is a blackout period.
Right. Those are your big retail days.
Mm-hmm.
Anything before Christmas, you can't, oh, I'm gonna be off that Thursday, that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That doesn't work. This would have been better at just being canceled if they couldn't have it on the weekend.
As Cia Berry says, that's like scheduling a con on tax day. That's probably has happened inadvertently. But,
Probably.
yeah. So, anywho, regarding these panels at SDCC, it's basically it's like this. If SAG-AFTRA and AMPTP cannot come to terms by the June 30th contract deadline and the guild goes on strike, actors will almost certainly join writers and showrunners in sitting out promotional events like Comic-Con, leaving studios with almost no one to populate panels in front of thousands of expectant fans. I'll tell you this shit right the fuck down. If SAG-AFTRA and AMPTP go on strike, a bunch of people are not going to go. Amid that uncertainty, several studios have preemptively nixed plans for a robust presence this year. Disney and Marvel and Lucasfilms aren't planning anything, so they was hoping to show off the Marvels, Loki Season 2, Ahsoka, Haunted Mansion. HBO was going to have True Detective and House of the Dragon. Sony Pictures is going to have Gran Turismo and Kraven the Hunter. And Universal is going to show off Last Voyage of the Dementor, Strays, and the remake of The Exorcist. And Netflix was going to show off One Piece. Other studios are still maintaining a wait-and-see posture. Warner Brothers needs a robust PR boost for the upcoming feature Blue Beetle and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And their streaming service Max is planning to bringing some animation titles to the event. Paramount Pictures is expecting to hold the panel for TMNT Mutant Mayhem. Its streaming counterpart Paramount Plus has yet to commit for Star Trek panels. NBC will only move forward with its panels if there's no actor strike, but that protocol doesn't necessarily extend to its sister streamer Peacock. Amazon plans to have some type of presence. We're going to see season 2 of The Wheel of Time and The Boys Gen V, which is going to be coming out this fall, but still figuring that out. And Apple has been tight-lipped about the whole thing. In absence of panels, some studios may lean on activations and promotional stunts outside of SDCC to generate fan interest. But that's a cold comfort for the con itself, which has thrived for over a decade on a steady stream of A-list stars and marquee projects streaming through its cavernous ballrooms. When reached by Variety, Comic-Con spokesperson David Glanzer provided a statement that avoids saying anything definitive of how SDCC may look in the wake of an actor strike, but does make clear that the organizers expect to go on with the event regardless. With regard to the strike and possible effects on Comic-Con, we tend to refrain from speculating or forecasting. I will say, our hope is for a speedy resolution that will prove beneficial to all parties and allow everyone to continue the work they love. Until then, we continue to diligently work on our summer event in the hopes of making it fun, educational, and celebratory as in years past. Any studio holdouts will have to make a decision very soon. Schedules will start rolling out on July 5th, but they may be making it in the dark. If SAG-AFTRA and AMPTP extend contract negotiations beyond the June 30th deadline, it's a bind no superhero would be able to save. And most people are going, really? It's going to be an actual comic convention now? Never works.
Yeah, but at the same time, we saw what the big companies pulling out of a convention did to E3.
No!
So there's a good chance that if the big companies aren't going to be there to entice the amount of people, that they may end up just, canceling certain Comic-Con events.
I mean, look, when it comes to E3, you gotta remember one thing. E3 has always been an industry show first, open to the people second, and that just went kind of convoluted. Repop didn't know how to properly market this so they can make money off of this. They were probably going to try to run it like a typical convention, and it just wasn't going to work. So, either or, it shouldn't even be them running it, but that's just me. Anywho, Maka, what's going on with this manga law?
Yeah, so there are some fans that are kind of upset about a new law that will be coming out in Japan. Um, so a lot of mangaka in Japan choose to operate under pen names or hide their faces from public, mainly because bitches be crazy.
Mm.
I mean, we see what happens with the idols. Now imagine your favorite manga artist, your favorite writer is out there and known. It's going to be very easy for people to start stalking them.
Mm-hmm.
However, a new law is set to strip away the barrier of privacy. Um, According to a couple of different reports, manga artists like Chainsaw Man's Tatsuki Fujimoto and My Hero Academia's Kohei Horikoshi who have avoided the public spotlight will soon be thrown into it. The law in question is part of Japan's new qualified invoice system, which will require contracts to register with tax collecting agencies under their real names,
Mm.
effectively preventing them from hiding their identities behind pen names. Fans are understandably concerned about this new development, as while many appreciate the opportunity to engage with beloved creators, most respect their choice to maintain a sense of privacy. The law is set to take effect this coming October, leaving many readers concerned about the future well-being of their favorite artists. Um, and then basically it's just a bunch of, manga authors are being required by law to show their faces. I don't see this going south at all. Praying for Horikoshi, this will not end well. Fujimoto was in trouble. CSM fans breaking into Fujimoto's house for killing all their favorite characters. Remember when the author of Tokyo Ghoul got death threats for how they did their own series? Remember when the creator of Evangelion got death threats for how they ended their own series?
Mm-hmm.
When blah, 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 blah. So while some fans saw the humor in the law, noting the long line of Chainsaw Man readers likely to show up at Fujimoto's door for killing their favorite characters, others reacted with more anxiety. So yeah, fans showed particular concern for mangakas like Jujutsu Kaisen's Gege Akatsume, who
Mm-hmm.
uses the aforementioned pen name to conceal both their real name and gender. Demon Slayer creator Kyoharu Gotsu, Go, Gots,
Toj.
yeah, that. To the same boat, and fans have really pointed out that forcing these artists to reveal their gender identities to the public is a questionable invasion of privacy. Although not confirmed, some fans have questioned whether the new law arose due to recent cases of manga artists privately collecting child pornography, particularly Rurouni Kenshin's creator. A select few fans even voiced support for the law, believing it may help to prevent this sort of behavior in the future. However, most responses to the tweets pointed out the lack of a clear correlation between forcing mangaka to reveal their identities and cracking down on illicit behavior. While there are many sides to this issue, and presumably the law was implemented for a reason, the overwhelming sentiment among fans appears to be that the qualified invoice system is a step in the wrong direction. I mean, I get it.
Same.
But at the same time, if you are a law officer, all of these mangaka work for companies. They have, people that are on their asses constantly to get scripts out, to get ink out. It's not like these people are complete and total mysteries. So if somebody wanted to find out, what was going on, they can. It's just the fans that don't know. The employers, the people that write the checks, things like that, they know who they're writing checks to.
True. But I agree. Their intent, I understand the intent, but the execution was just poor. Just poor.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should be able to use a pen name. I mean, there are plenty of writers that use pen names.
Right.
I mean, hell, Stephen King has a pen name. Anne Rice had a pen name. Uh, I mean, granted, they ended up outing themselves, so that people knew who the pen name, who the actual author was, but it was done after the books were out and read and people could go, oh, hey, you know, this is a really good book. And it turns out to be something completely different from what that person would have written under their regular name. Like Anne Rice, her pen name, a lot of it is smut.
Yeah, I know, the erotic adventures of Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm. 4 different books of nothing but smut. Not horrible smut either.
Cedar Beery says, I wonder if it'll end up being like the U.S., where you get a bunch of small companies forming to help keep things discreet. Could happen. Or possibly they could do more little houses like Clamp and Bee Papas. That could happen too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Moving right along here. Oh, I didn't even realize I forgot to do the update here. So let me refresh that. That went through. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and do it again. Got one more to go through. And
I'll take this one and then you can take the next 2.
Okay.
Okay, so going back to, conventions and maybe having issues, there is a possibility that Anime Expo weekends, which is this coming weekends, may have issues as well. Unite Here Local 11, which is Southern California's largest hospitality union, announced on its website on June 9th that its members had voted to authorize a strike at dozens of hotels as early as July 4th weekend, if an agreement has not been reached.
That's not good.
Yeah, the union stated it was calling for a strike among 15,000 workers, which would make it the largest hotel worker strike in modern U.S. history. So this year's Anime Expo will be returning to Los Angeles July 1st through 4th. The convention recently discontinued its premier fan badge system. The convention revealed its full guest list this month. So the Local 11 website stated it represents over 32,000 room attendants, cooks, dishwashers, front desk agents, servers, and food service workers who voted to authorize the strike. The union's key demands include an immediate $5 an hour wage increase to keep pace with the soaring cost of housing, affordable family health care, a pension that will enable workers to retire with security, and a safe and humane workload. So, after months of negotiations, which began on April 20th with major hotel employers such as Hyatt, Hilton, Highgate, Marriott, and so forth. So if they decide to go on strike, and unfortunately a holiday weekend is the best time because it is the time that people will be screwed the most.
I am so glad nothing like that ever happened while my many weekends attending Otakon in Baltimore, Maryland, because I don't know if you know this, but a majority of the hotels there were built just because of Otakon. Because
Mhm.
yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, at the time that article came out, Otakon brought in $2 million in solid revenue over a 4-day weekend. And as Ron421 says, they picked the perfect time to strike. They sure enough did.
Yeah, the problem with that is that while the hotels will find people to work, uh,
Mm-hmm.
their ratings are going to tank, and you can't tell me that anime convention goers are not going to destroy the place.
They're going to be so mad when they can't get their turn down service.
Not even that. You know how long a line is to pick up a badge at a convention. You know how long that line is normally when you
Huh.
go to the hotel to check in. Now imagine that line twice to three times as long because the person checking you in has only been doing it for 5 hours. They have no experience and there's nobody there to help them.
It's like sending a soldier into the war. Like, here's your helmet and gun. Go 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 go. They run about 5 feet before you get picked off.
Yeah. If the strike actually goes on, that is exactly what is going to happen.
Let's wait and see. And if they go on strike, I look forward to seeing all the posts about AX on my Facebook feed. This weekend actually. That's right. Oh, I'm going to have to get me a package of Orville Redenbacher. Oh, it's gonna be good. So, anyhow, now the next story I'm excited about. So, did I do that again? No, I did not. Again, all right. There we go. This alone makes Yohane best girl in all of Love Live out of all the series because she has her own video game, and I am here for this.
Of course you are.
Well, yeah. And the fact that there's already screenshots in English and the title is in English, it's coming over. So, and I'm also happy about the fact that just like those niche anime titles are gaining in popularity and people are buying them more. That's really got me going. So, as we've mentioned on prior episodes, there's going to be a Love Life Sunshine spin-off anime called Yohane Sunshine in the Mirror. It's basically an isekai anime where it takes place during more or less medieval times. So what's happening now is there's going to be a spin-off game going to that. So, and it's called Yohane the Parhelion Blaze in the Deep Blue. Inti Creates is releasing the game later this year on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. It's going to be a 2D video game adaptation. It's basically be something like, as they call it, a side-scrolling adventure roguelike. It's going to be done with RPG elements in the vein of Castlevania Sympathy of the Night. Inti Creates describes the game as this. When an undersea dungeon suddenly surfaces in the ocean near Numazu, it becomes the talk of the town. Several of Yohane's curious friends venture inside to investigate. However, not a single one has returned from the labyrinth. In order to rescue her friends, Yohane herself must brave the depths. She'll encounter fierce challenges such as monstrous fish and ever-changing corridors. Will Yohane be able to rescue her friends and uncover the mystery of the dungeon? Yohane the Parhelion blaze in the deep blue. The darkest depth, a ray of sunshine pierces through. Oh, I see what they did there. That was good. And I believe the original cast will be back, which is also great. And with this, it's a typical any dungeon-esque roguelike Metroidvania style games. What they're doing in this one, they're going to increase the challenge, and they're going to randomly generate dungeon sections on certain playthroughs, making the consecutive runs even more varied and more unique. The game will be released on November 16th on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC via Steam. I have a feeling I'm going to end up with like 2 copies of this game, one for Xbox and one for PC, because I'm probably going to be streaming this game. And that's provided if I haven't picked up a capture card by that time. We'll see what happens. All right, and our next story is about My Hero Academia joining forces with the NBA. I think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? It's going to debut at NBA Con in Las Vegas. Wow, the NBA has its own convention. Wow. And a brand new collaboration between My Hero Academia, Toho Animation, Crunchyroll, and the National Basketball Association, the NBA Lab, and Hyperfly, the very popular Shonen Jump series will be merging into a one-of-a-kind streetwear for fans. Exclusively debuting at NBA Con, which will be held in Las Vegas from July 7th to the 9th, with full merchandise release to be released later this fall. The characters from the anime My Hero Academia will be featured on newly designed merchandise for 9 NBA teams: the Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, the Bulls, Celtics, the 76ers, the New York Knicks, Miami Heat, Mavericks, and Portland Trailblazers. Personally, I'm probably going to grab some Bulls gear. Hyperfly's retail launch, featuring All Might on t-shirts, hoodies, and satin jackets, will be available to be purchased this fall in the US and Canada online at Crunchyroll.com, NBAStore.com, Lids.com, and Hyperfly.com, and other approved vendors. And merchandise will be available in Japan on NBAStore.jp. I would not have expected the NBA would have a store in Japan. I never would have guessed.
Mm.
And I'm actually looking at it, so. And as Ron Before 21 says, the Knicks should get Mineta. He's trash and so are they. Thank you! God. Well, the Knicks were good at one time, and then Patrick Ewing left. All right, now we're down to our final story of the night before we flip over to Meanwhile in Japan. And I figure this will be all Mako-chan.
Yeah, so the Sanrio character popularity ranking has been revealed. This is their 38th installment with 44,487,850 votes, a staggering 168% increase from last year.
Wow.
This was cast for Sanrio's 450 plus characters, and the winners were chosen. So, the top 10, number 10 is Batsmaru, number 9, Tuxedo Sam, number 8, Little Twin Stars, number 7, Hangyoden, number 6, My Melody, number 5, Hello Kitty, number 4, Pochako, number 3, Kuromi, number 2, Pom Pom Purin, and number 1, Cinema Roll.
Are you not surprised?
I'm not surprised at all of, the top 3. I am surprised at Batsmaru. This is the first time in 12 years that he has actually been in the top 10. And perhaps it is because it is his 30th anniversary.
There we go.
Yeah, and then Jochum, who is a recent Sanrio collaboration with 11-member Japanese boy band J01, made its grand debut in 14th place.
Hmm.
And yeah, um, Agretzko is 37.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a steep decline because
Oh,
she was not that far back last year.
interesting. Right. Now that we got that out the way, we're gonna get into the part of the show that y'all really stick around for. Meanwhile, in Japan, and before we continue, Mako-chan,
Hmm?
I just bankrupted you in Monopoly Go.
Damn you!
Pulled about 20 million out of your bank for a mega heist. You have to blame the game for that one. It randomized you for the mega heist, and how was I supposed to? I was gonna get 3 gold. I was gonna match 3 gold bars, and look at that, another 2 million on top. All right, let me adjust the volume controls here. Right. Ron before 21 goes, damn. While the show is running, he pulls that pure evil.
I can't blame him though because while the show was going, I passed him, and I'm like I think one board after him now or 2 boards after him now. So I mean I can't blame him because I kicked his ass first.
And you know me, I come back and I just start stomping.
Yeah, he does.
All right, so since was only the two of us, we'll go through these couple of stories real quick. I think I'll take the last one.
Uh, that's actually the one that I figured you were gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
I had set the first one for Ari, um, and I'm gonna take the second one, so I guess I will go first.
All right, it is all yours.
Yeah, so Godiva, which is one of my favorite chocolate brands, is going to be collaborating with Zenno, which is a huge collaboration project that is going on in Japan. Zenno, otherwise known as the Japan Agricultural Cooperatives Group's National Federation of Agricultural Cooperation Associations, say that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
They now have another big name on board for its newest release, which is esteemed luxury fruit store Ginza Sembikia. So now these 3 forces have joined together to create Ginza Chocolate Daifuku,
Interesting.
going to be available in 3 varieties. And each one is going to feature a specialty fruit from various prefectures. So, Daifuku are traditional sweets that contain a sweet filling wrapped in a thin layer of sticky rice. The first one is going to contain a Tochitomo strawberry from Tochigi Prefecture, which is a variety noted for its perfect balance between tartness and sweetness, which is said to pair well with the richness of chocolate. The Koroyoku Kiwi, which is a variety from Kagawa Prefecture, characterized by its bright green flesh and high sugar content, is said to be a good match for the mochi sticky rice coating and smooth chocolate cream. Rounding out the collection is the kumquat from Kagoshima Prefecture, which has a sweet skin and moderately sour flesh to create an exciting contrast to the rich chocolate. The combination of luxury fruit and chocolate takes Daifuku sweets to a whole new level of deliciousness, but they're not going to come cheap. Each one is going to cost you about $6.
Woo!
Still, for fans of Godiva and Sambiki, or Daifuku in general, it is a price worth paying, especially as the sweets are only being made in limited quantities. Yeah. So I kind of really want to try one, specifically the strawberry one.
I don't think I'll be able to get them to you in time when I go to Japan.
They probably won't even be available by the time you go out there.
But I do plan on grabbing some Japanese chocolate bars and stuff.
Awesome.
Well, the thing is, I know I can get a few of them here at Sunrise Mart, but I'm gonna see if I can find ones that I've never seen. So, kind of fun I have with that.
But yeah, and they're so pretty, and I like fruit and chocolate together, so I kind of want one.
I could kind of tell. Now we're
Okay,
gonna
next.
Now we're going to talk about a follow-up to a story we've discussed here previously about revolving sushi. It seems that a teen sushi terrorist Sushiro lawsuit could go up to 160 million yen. Now, if you remember earlier this year, we talked about how the nation was rocked when a boy licked the soy sauce dispenser, a cup intended for another customer, and his finger before wiping it on pieces of sushi that floated by on the conveyor belt of Major Chan Sushiro. This isn't the worst crime in the grand scheme of things, nor was this teen's first or last person to have been caught doing such a thing. But perhaps it was hit as just as the country was emerging from years of COVID-related restrictions and the feelings of disgust that the video evoked were in full effect. There is a video floating around that you can watch this more or less with a news report. It is crazy. Now, speaking in regards to that, the communal nature of revolving sushi restaurants meant their income was also suffering from the pandemic, and have to take place just as things were improving had devastating potential. Since then, Sushiro and their competitors have all been racing to take measures to assure the public it was safe to eat there. As news of this sushi terrorism traveled around the globe, so did the news of the lawsuit filed against the boy for 67 million yen, which translates to $472,000. That's how much they were suing for damages. It's important to note that unlike the courts in some other countries, Japan for the most part does not award punitive damages that go beyond the actual loss of property or business. That amount equals to about 67,000 meals at Sushiro. This means every yen of that 67 million demanded by the company is tied into some financial loss they've incurred, and they feel they can prove it in court. At the time of the incident, the stock price of Sushiro's parent company took a dive about 17 billion yen, which translates to about $118 million. And the blowback of social media strongly suggests that a lot of people would stop going there, resulting in subsequent loss of sales. That's crazy. However, in court, it will be hard to prove that those things were a direct result of the sushi terrorist actions alone. Sushiro is more likely to bring up the cost to replace all the cups and soy sauce dispensers in that one store at least, as well as the added labor costs of shutting down the revolver conveyor belt nationwide and accommodating customers' understandable requests to get tableware from the back they know is clean. These costs are also ongoing. Sushiro is currently working on installing acrylic dividers between the tables and all of their 600 plus restaurants across the country. They're currently estimating the cost of these and other hygiene improvements to an additional 93 million yen, which translates to about $650,000, which would put the youngster on the hook for about 160 million yen, which translates to $1.1 million. Outcome of this lawsuit remains to be seen, but a majority of online comments appear to be in support of hitting the sushi terrorist hard. Comments such as, "He's so young, I guess he'll have a lot of time to pay it back." Summer Jumbo Lottery jackpot's up to 100,000 yen. That might help. I bet he feels really sorry now. With this plus the stuff from COVID-19, that restaurant's going to be wall-to-wall acrylic. They won't get the money to pay for the acrylic from the kid anyway. It'll just make the prices go up. Regardless of whether the awarded amount is 67 million or 160 million yen, it will certainly appear that the teenager is totally unable to pay it. In all likelihood, this may be settled out of court, with the boy receiving a more practical punishment, so Shiro will have to have sent a clear message to the world about the financial pain they or other restaurants in Japan could potentially dish out in response to sushi terrorism. I got nothing on that one.
Yeah, it is what it is.
He licked around and found out. Oh, you know I'm right.
I plead the fifth.
You always plead the fifth.
I do, because it's easier that way.
Oh, you. All right, we're going to get up on out of here. So if you like tonight's show, tell a friend. They in turn will tell another friend, and so on and so forth. We're independent bloggers, independent podcasters. So what we like and don't like, we're telling you outright anyway. So if you have any questions about the show, drop us a line at podcast@animejamsession.com. Again, that is podcast@animejamsession.com. We're here to believe you. Don't forget to visit our website at animejamsession.com, where you will find our weekly podcast. You will also find cosplayer tips and tricks, cosplayer interviews, anime reviews, editorials, links to our YouTube page of convention coverage. You'll also find links to our Facebook page of cosplay convention coverage too. All that and a lot more at animejamsession.com. And don't forget, episodes are available in a nice, ready-to-go podcasting format. You can find us on Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and Apple Podcasts. And what's great is that some of these sites have the option to leave a review. So if you could, leave us a review. Throw us a couple of stars. We really appreciate that. A little bit goes a long way. And down below, if you're watching... No, wait. That's the next part. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. It's all Anime Jam Session. Follow us on those so you know when we're going live, when we have new articles going up, when podcasts are going up, photos, and so much more. And to all of you who follow us on our socials, thank you so much. We couldn't do this without y'all. And now, if you're watching live with us, we have a tip jar. Right below this page here, there's a link to our Ko-Fi and our stream elements if you want to click and throw us a few dollars. That would be great. We really appreciate that. If you want, you can cheer us on with bits. That's also a cool thing to do. Or you can also gift subs or sub to the channel. Every little bit counts, and it goes right back into keeping things going. And we can't thank you enough for that. So let's see, what do we have left here? Last words. Last words, Mako-chan.
I am freaking tired, but it'll be worth it if I'm done with everything I need to be done with before this weekend.
My last words is, I got stuff to do before bed, then sleep. Well, that is it. End of list. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll have the whole gang together. I think that's a berry week, so I think they will be joining us. So that is it. End of list. We're getting up on out of here. So I'm Ranma.
And I'm Mako-chan.
Great fight. Great night. See you next week.
Not next week.
I mean, see you in 2 weeks. Thank you for that. I
Good
just
night,
said
everybody.
that. Say goodnight, Mako-chan.
Good night, Mako-chan.
That is it. We're out of here. See you all in 2 weeks.
This podcast has been a production of Anime Jam Session and AJS Productions. No fanboys and fangirls were hurt, maimed, shot, electrocuted, or pistol whipped in this episode. For now. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed on this show do not reflect the staff or the network as a whole. But we're still right, damn it. For transcripts of this episode, start typing. Check us out at animejamsession.com and vognetwork.com for more information about us and other programming. Jamatane!